All right, welcome to today's Explainer. Let's just dive right into this because we are tackling something today that I absolutely know you're going to relate to. We are unpacking the Samurai Kaizen Method, which is this really fascinating framework designed to build unstoppable discipline. If you've ever struggled to bridge the gap between those big late-night ambitions and your cold early morning realities, you are in exactly the right place.
I mean, we've literally all been there, right? Picture this. It's 11 p.m., you're laying in bed, maybe scrolling through a motivational speech on your phone, and your mind is just on fire. You promise yourself that tomorrow is going to be different. You're going to wake up at 5 a.m., you're going to run, you're going to build, you're going to execute. In that moment, tucked under the covers, you feel completely unstoppable. But then, 5 a.m. actually hits. The alarm blares. It's cold. You are incredibly tired. And suddenly, that fiery motivation, it's just gone. Completely vanished.
Well, this perfectly highlights exactly what's going wrong. The problem at 5 a.m. isn't your willpower, and hey, I want to validate that for you right now. The problem is actually your method. When you rely purely on how pumped up you feel the night before, you're basically trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. It just cannot hold the weight of your ambitions. If you want discipline that actually sticks, this source material suggests we need to look at the intersection of two really powerful, ancient Japanese philosophies to finally cure this procrastination cycle.
So here are the core pillars of the Samurai Kaizen Method we'll be walking through today. 1. The motivation trap. 2. Kaizen, meaning small, consistent steps. 3. Bushido, or putting purpose over feelings. 4. Environment and instant action. And 5. Mastering unstoppable discipline.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the motivation trap. Let's look at why our modern approach to goal setting is totally letting us down. You know, in today's super caffeinated, fast-paced world, we are just completely addicted to the idea of going all in. We want instant transformation. We want the overnight success story. But the source points out a pretty harsh reality here. Wanting to change in massive leaps and taking massive action almost always leads to one guaranteed outcome, and that's instant burnout. When you try to just completely overhaul your entire life in a single 24-hour period, you're just exhausting your mental resources right out of the gate.
Which brings us right to Pillar 2, Kaizen, or small, consistent steps. Now, the secret sauce here boils down to a single number, 1%. Think about the samurai for a second. They didn't just wake up one day as master swordsmen. And honestly, they probably didn't always wake up thrilled to train either. But they achieved mastery by practicing a single strike thousands of times. The core goal is simply to improve by just 1% every single day. That's it, just 1%.
So, what does this actually look like for our daily targets? Well, if you want to read more, don't aim for 50 pages a day. Aim for 1 page. If you want to start working out, don't kick things off with a grueling hour at the gym. Start with exactly 1 push-up. Now, you might be thinking, what's the point of just 1 push-up? But the objective here isn't the physical progress from that single movement. The objective is killing your brain's resistance to starting. When a task is so tiny that it feels almost ridiculous to fail at it, your brain literally cannot argue with you. You're bypassing that mental friction entirely.
Moving on to Pillar 3, Bushido, putting purpose over feelings.
So, the samurai lived by a really strict code, not by whatever mood they were in that day. And we've got to clearly separate these two ideas. Motivation, it's highly erratic. It changes with the weather, how well you slept last night, or just your general mood. Relying on it is a total trap. Discipline, on the other hand, is completely stable. Discipline is the active, deliberate process of choosing your future self over your current, temporary emotions.
And this brings us to one of the most massively powerful core principles of the Bushido Code. Do what is right because it is right, not because you feel like it. Honestly, this is where the vast majority of people trip up. They wake up and ask themselves, do I feel like going to the gym today? Or do I feel like working on this project? You have to stop asking if you feel like doing something. Instead, the question has to become, does this action align with the person I said I was going to become? To actually pull this off, the source challenges us to create our own personal code. We're talking just 3 to 5 non-negotiable rules. For example, I do not check my phone before breakfast. I move my body every day. I finish what I start. Once you lock in these rules, your life gets remarkably simple. Notice I said simple, not easy. It's simple because there are no more gray areas. There's no negotiating with yourself at 6 a.m. You either follow your code or you don't. You remove the excuses entirely.
All right, on to number 4, environment and instant action, clearing the path.
You know, a samurai's blade was always impeccably clean, and his space was always ready to go. Why? Because chaos creates hesitation, and hesitation kills discipline. We have to accept a pretty hard truth here. Your environment is stronger than your intentions. You can have the absolute best intentions in the world, but if your gym clothes are buried in a drawer under a massive pile of junk, the hesitation of having to dig them out is going to stop you from going.
So, we must structure our physical spaces to protect our discipline. If you want to focus and study, put your phone in another room. It really is that simple. If your phone is sitting right next to your bed or on your desk, you are inevitably going to scroll. Your environment is practically begging you to fail.
And hey, if you want to eat healthy, just don't buy the junk food in the first place. You literally can't eat the donuts at 2 a.m. if they aren't sitting in your pantry. Discipline is dramatically easier when you aren't fighting a daily war with your own surroundings. You've got to make your good habits incredibly easy to perform and your bad habits incredibly difficult to access.
Now, to wipe out that very last bit of hesitation, the source introduces a brilliant little tactical tool, the 60-second rule. As we've learned, the hardest part of any journey is always that very first step. The friction is always at its absolute highest right before you begin. So, we shrink the commitment down to just 1 single minute.
Here's how you can use this to beat procrastination on the spot. Step 1. Commit to doing a task for exactly 60 seconds. Step 2, and this is super critical, give yourself genuine permission to stop after that 1 minute is up. If you want to quit after 60 seconds, you can. But step 3 is what actually happens. Once you begin, you break that invisible wall of resistance. You get in motion. And 9 times out of 10, you'll just keep going. Why? Because starting wasn't actually the problem. Avoiding the start was the problem.
And finally, Section 5, Mastering Unstoppable Discipline. So, to recap this incredibly actionable framework, just remember that unstoppable discipline isn't some magical gift you're born with. It is a skill that you actively build. Here is your roadmap. First, use Kaizen to aim for just 1% better each day. Second, live by your own Bushido Code so you act on purpose, not on erratic emotions. Third, rigorously control your environment so good habits are easy and bad habits are hard. And fourth, whenever you feel stuck, deploy the 60-second rule to instantly break the resistance and begin.
We've got to stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, or for that super elusive 11 p.m. motivation to magically strike. The samurai deeply understood that the only time that truly exists is right now. So I'm going to leave you with this final powerful thought from our explainer today. Will you apply these steps to master yourself so you can master the world? Think about it. And more importantly, go take your first 60 seconds of action today.